You and I were talking about, we just did a panel a few moments ago about storytelling, right? How do you tell the story of GE to consumers? So what's the best platform right now for GE to tell its story?
There's such a multitude of stories. I think all of social media, if you could look at social media, it's all obviously discrete platforms, but we really like what's happening with social media right now because you're able to target your audience in a very relevant way. So each platform has something different. We've had great luck with Instagram. We were one of the first brands on Instagram back in 2011, and it's so beautiful, just the photography you can bring to life about how things at GE are made. So that's been a really great platform. And recently we've been doing much more with Snapchat, with even sort of micro messaging platforms like Yo.
Yeah.
So I think I'd say social media right now is pretty exciting. I'm particularly excited with where virtual reality is going. We've been experimenting. Obviously it hasn't scaled yet, but to be able to create an immersive experience for a customer, a fan, to be able to see, hey, this is what happens inside a jet engine. This is what happens inside your brain. I mean, those things we're experimenting right now, and I think that's really exciting.
But on those social media platforms, how do you measure success?
Well, every campaign is different. So each effort that you do, you have a certain set of goals. We've been doing a lot of this around the industrial internet. For us, that's basically GE's efforts to get into data and analytics, and GE's becoming a software company around the industrial side of the world. So for us to use social media to go after CIOs who are making buying decisions, to go after software engineers who can develop new apps on our Predix industrial internet platform, to go after talent who we want to come and write code at various GE businesses. So it really depends, and often you'll look at one platform that can serve a multitude of needs and audiences.
Right, of different functions that as you say, needs at GE.
Right.
But have you seen anything that's really moved the needle the way a 30-second ad 10 years ago would have moved the needle for GE?
Well, I think what's happening now is just that you have you have basically 360 surround sound with all of these different platforms. So I think it's hard to say there's any one platform, but it's in concert. You're looking to create the amplification, and I think the amplification ability is so much better. You marry it to a 30-second spot, you're able to make that 30-second TV spot even be more effective by using the various social media platforms. Think about the way Twitter has changed TV viewing. It's no longer one or the other. Together, there's something very special. So it's the same thing when you're trying to do brand marketing.
You know, it makes me think, though, GE at one point had owned, I mean, you know, you worked at NBC.
I did. Formative part of my career was at NBC.
Absolutely. And, you know, given how important content and now storytelling is, maybe GE should have kept NBC.
Well, I'm not sure. If you look at our core competency is high, you know, sort of really advanced science, I'm not sure we brought much to the mix at NBC, but I do think you'll see us telling a lot more stories about science going forward.
Well, one of those avenues is Breakthrough, this documentary that you're going to be airing in November on National Geographic. Brian Grazer and Ron Howard are producing this with you, right?
Right.
So is this some sort of new model then that GE is going to by which GE is going to advertise?
Well, it's new for us, certainly in recent memory. I go back and I could point to in GE's history, back in the late 50s and 60s, we had GE Theater. In fact, Ron Howard got his first acting start in being in GE Howard. In a GE theater. It's a great story. So there have been times in our history where we've been part of stories. For us, this is certainly a new chapter. Basically, we've teamed with Brian Grazer, Ron Howard, and they've brought together 6 amazing directors, and the team at Asylum, best known for 30 for 30.
Right.
And they're going to help us tell great science stories. GE, this isn't about product placement. It's about, we want context for some of the major breakthroughs that are happening in the world. Longevity, what's happening in renewable energy, what's up with water in the world. How do we create the right kind of mechanisms to get the breakthroughs we need? So there'll be GE scientists talking to them, giving the researchers background, but mostly we need good storytellers that can tell these stories. They need 60 minutes. You can't tell some of these stories in a quick 6-second vine or pictures. We'll use those medium to amplify it, but sometimes you need to go deep, and I think this new format for us as a producing partner with Nat Geo through Imagine Entertainment, I think we're allowed to bring context to the equation.